The story of the GRUG. Not just any average GRUG, but the GRUG starts where all life in the realm starts. In Soy's kettle. The GRUG felt like he never fit in with the masses, thought different, questioned a lot of things, was built different. The GRUG noticed how the average Soy were people who ridiculed others and did not look into themselves for the answers. So, the GRUG left and began his journey to find himself. His first stop was the ruins of Ed. The ruins of Ed are a place that has been destroyed by the Soy-ciety. The weak Soy-ciety never worked together to build each other up, to improve, to be genuine. The Soy-ciety was as hollow as the ruins that lay waste there now. The GRUG knew that was not a way to live. For the ruins of Ed was a bustling place of soy and edamame, now as empty as their distant eyes. The GRUG, wanting to get away from the soy, had to pass the Lost Forest. A forest erected to keep the soys from invading the lands forward. For a soy, it is impossible to light the way with their dim heart. The GRUG, moving through the woods, encountered a great foe. Could not see. The GRUG trusted their heart, and the GRUG kept moving through the forest, even though threats remained in the shadows. The GRUG could not see the way, but trusted their heart. The GRUG reached the end of the forest and left the creatures in the darkness that swallowed the forest. From the forest, the Lost Forest, the GRUG made his way to a little town called Lost Hope. The GRUG met a man with pink hair and pain expressed in every last cell of their body. The GRUG asked why the man looked as such. The man in pain said, "I have trusted people with my soul. People who I thought were friends. People who I thought were my loved ones. My error was speaking my mind. They were not in agreement with my viewpoint and outcasted me. All the good times we went through, when we hung on to the thread of time, through our struggles, our human condition, it was all thrown away over differing opinion." The GRUG inquired into the differing opinion, and the man in pain said, "I watch dub anime, not sub anime. I also didn't own a body pillow or play Genshin Impact. None of the weebs wanted to be seen around me anymore. So, here I am. If you look out to the Ayaya Isles, the lands have gaps between them. They only want to be friends with those who have the same opinion on which anime is the best and why dub is trash. There is also a wee exile out there filled with people like me. But I let my pain be a message to the future. The GRUG said, what big loss for them. They lost a genuine person. You keep being you. Go for better. And so the GRUG continued onwards, for he did not fit here. The GRUG approached many great towers, all armed with weaponry. The GRUG met a block of a man and asked to let him pass. The block said, "Me need to test strength to let pass." The GRUG knew the test would be hard. Fighting doubt, the GRUG agreed. The two tested their strength for hours, to which the block stopped and said, "You have strength. You know weeb. Me saw look an eye. Me know you strong. You trust chest. You finding self. Why you want pass?" The GRUG answered without hesitation, "I want to pass, to find a place where me and my heart can fit in." The block responded in saying, "Only place you need fit in is under your skin." The block stepped aside to let the GRUG pass and said, "You may like Warrior's Trial." The GRUG passed through the tower and the Great Divide. The GRUG passed through the city and heard tales of the land to the east. The GRUG heard of this place called Horny Island. The Horny Island was filled with pleasure. It was pleasure all the time, non-stop. This pleasure-filled island sounds like a paradise in which eternal bliss was achieved. This was not the case, however. The island was a place of no goals, no friends, no future. Only horny. The only thing that mattered was coom and pleasure. Externally fulfilling, but internally hollow. Light on the outside, darkness on the inside. The GRUG then passed a desert and read a story carved in the dried tree. There once was a farm city around the great tree. One farmer grew jealous and salted the earth under their neighbor. Unable to grow, the maddened farmer salted the earth of the other farmers. Soon the whole farming town died, being unable to grow meaningful crops. The GRUG moved through the city to the west, called Chaddington. The GRUG witnessed how the city was split. One side was average, happy, silly themselves. A nice place. One side was angry, bitter, evil. Bad guys. Outcasted for their ways and not learning that the negativity affected others and placing themselves in a cycle of hate. Very few unable to break the negative chain and be reaccepted into the main city of Chaddington. When in Chaddington, the GRUG heard of two other places. Distant lands. The GRUG heard of Lost Lurk Island. This is where people have isolated and observe others from a distance. Perhaps because of shyness, maybe as a means of taking it all in. Maybe as a means of retreating within themselves. The GRUG also heard of a land called Komorocho. In this land, there were a few honorable legendary GRUGs. The GRUG listened intently to the stories of these GRUGs. Hearing great stories of other GRUGs inspired GRUG to be better. The GRUG was finally pointed into the direction of the great warrior's trial in seeking the true GRUG life. A life better for him to maximize himself. This is the moment he wanted, and he will not falter. The GRUG finally made it to Warrior's Trial. The Warrior's Trial is what separates GRUGs from all other life forms. The mountains, cold, unforgiving, high, and thin with air. The GRUG felt fear and could have avoided the trial and lived a small life somewhere. That may have been easier. The GRUG, however, knew he had to do it. To grow, to overcome, to up the heavy task in front. The GRUG knew nothing small. The GRUG knew this is the way. The GRUG traveled through the mountains, climbing over one after another, after another. The GRUG heart growing stronger as his body was giving up. He kept pushing. The GRUG, exhausted, kept on pushing until there was nothing left. The GRUG passed out on top of the last mountain. The GRUG awoke in a cave, feeling a sense of sureness and power. Next to the GRUG was the one and only legendary wise GRUG. You make it further than anyone else before you. You give it all. You did best. You accept challenge. You GRUG. The look in eyes. Fire. Me feel your heart's presence. Good. You strong. You blocky. You have much learn. We train. For years, the GRUG trained, working harder to get stronger and challenging himself, pushing not only himself, but others as well. The elder GRUG, always there to push even more. When the GRUG felt tired, the elder GRUG would tell him, "You must dig it down." The GRUG learned of the elder GRUG's ways when he quit pre-workout, something he was addicted to for years and years on the spot. So the elder GRUG could see his family grow. The elder GRUG had a beautiful garden, but the GRUG found out the real garden were the people he helped grow and raise up. There were many lessons taught by the elder GRUG. He was perhaps the greatest GRUG to exist. One day, the elder GRUG took the GRUG to the top of GRUG Mountain. This harsh condition quiet, with focus. Anytime you need head noise, focus. Come here. Take this. The elder GRUG handed the GRUG a gold chain. One day, where you have this place, and me no here, you'll have challenges, and you have to face them up. Why are you telling me this? The GRUG said. The elder GRUG told the story of his battle with a great sickness. The elder GRUG many moons ago fought a great foe, the Great Soy. The Great Soy used his life-sapping powers to make the strongest of beings crumble. The most flourishing lands reduced to edamame. In the great fight for the balance of the world, the GRUG won, but got hit with the soy beam of devastation. The effects of this was a slow death. The elder GRUG fought this sickness with the power of his sheer might, his heart. He would not go down easy. The elder GRUG told the GRUG at the end of the story it was okay and everything was going to be fine. The GRUG wore the expression of grief on his face, a weight that he has not felt ever and not sure he could bear. The elder GRUG looked the GRUG in the eyes and said, "When thing no go good, dig it down. Look inside you." A few days later, the great elder GRUG had passed. The GRUG, enraged, overcome with substantial grief, soul-crushing sorrow, let out a tear. Out of all the trials he had been pushed through, this was the one that was the toughest by far. The GRUG remembered the spot the elder had showed him, built a statue of stone to remember him, and remembered what else he said on that day. The ice hard, but break. The steam no break, but no substance. The water flow, take shape of all. Find way through crack, calm water, like calm soul. Time passes, people move, like a river's flow, it never ends. A childish mind, turn noble ambition, young love, become deep affection. The clear water's surface reflects growth. The GRUG sat there in focus, reflecting on his journey, on what the elder GRUG taught him. The GRUG learned that just because there's a lot of people doesn't mean you won't be lonely. The GRUG learned to trust himself. The GRUG learned people can let their opinions or ego get in the way of what really matters. Friends are important. They will build you up to the highest levels or break you down to the deepest depths. The GRUG learned some tests are meant to pass and some are meant to learn. The GRUG learned there's a lesson to be learned in everything you experience. The GRUG learn that happiness comes from within. Discovering your life's purposes will set you free and give you meaning. The GRUG learn to not let people change his heart, and anger is self-destructive. Forgiveness is what will free you, but not revenge. The GRUG learn is that other people's mistakes are a lesson for you too. That connecting with yourself is worthwhile. GRUG also learn isolation, while it can be lonely, can lead to more depth in your self-understanding. GRUG learn also making the best of every situation leads to your triumph. Regret is more painful than failure. The GRUG, upon reflection, raised his head with a determined stare out into the world and said, "Me, GRUG."